I'm Justin Kiner Hickman. I was in the United States Marine Corps from 1998 to 2020. I was a combat engineer.
What about the script resonated with you, and what, if anything, why do you think it's an important story to tell?
It's important to get the mindset out there and get it out to the public, because if you don't live in a military town, you can be kind of confused on what veterans are going through.
Hmm.
And it's one of those stories like they might see on TV, or they might hear like a tragedy, but it doesn't really resonate. But it hit home for me, like just the whole interaction is just like I know my thought process with it. My thought process will go through it. It's those feelings that I have to hide. It's those ones that make you think, and the ones that we don't share with other people. It's really reason why we're up to, as veterans, up to 24 suicides a month now, basically. That's why when you call the Veteran Affair Hotline, the first thing that pops up, if you're feeling like you want to attempt suicide, please call 911. You know, it's crazy how that's the first thing you hear when you call the Veteran Affairs line every time. And why wouldn't a veteran think about doing it if he hears that every time he calls Veteran Affairs for help?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. What do you do for work now, Hickman?
Oh, I'm going to school right now at UNCW, trying to get my degree in recreation therapy.
Cool. I didn't realize you were in for as long as you were.
Yeah, yeah. I did 22. Um, I went until my body gave out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now I'm on a new path, but it's a lonely one.
Yes, it's still fairly recent. Or does it feel recent to you that you left, or
It,
does it
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jack. I miss it every day.
miss it?
I miss it every day because nobody will ever know how you feel other than someone you serve with.
Mm-hmm.
That's like people that stayed in long enough. They know that brotherhood just can't be. It can't happen. It just like with in a civilian, like being with civilian friends. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
That camaraderie is just not the same at all. And like I don't know, like it's been almost 3 years, and nah, I still have not made one like real civilian friend. I could be like, you know what? Let me tell you about. Let me tell you what keeps me up at night. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't tell your kids, you can't tell your wife, because you're supposed to be this hard veteran, and nothing is supposed to affect you. And I can see why some of these kids, when they get out and they can't adjust to civilian life, they say screw it. It's a hard pill to swallow. Like a couple of days ago, on Facebook, another baby, squared away Marine, 4 years, friggin' been out of the Marine Corps a year and a half, took his own life. I see it pop up every month now. It's crazy. Every month I see somebody that just got out and boom.
Have you
And
discovered any like tools or processes that have helped you in your adjustment to civilian life?
well, our buddy Riddle, he'd tell you only thing probably helps is physical fitness and trying to make a new uh, a new trusting circle of friends, basically. Um, I still live in a military town, so I still have, I still have access to base and stuff like that. But for someone that's like getting out and going back to Cleveland, Ohio, which like 40% of Marine Corps are from Ohio, it might not be the same case.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I think because I was in for so long, and then like after 22, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I did mine. But someone coping like he did 4, but he wasn't sure if he wanted to get out or not, and then he got out, and he's like, I can't get back in. Civilian life sucks. Oh my God, it was so much easier in the Marine Corps. That might affect them.
Mm-hmm.
That might affect them. I'm not gonna lie. Man. Mm. But yeah, because like I ain't gonna the VA, they do a good job of they do a good job of sending you over medicating you. They should send it to you. But other than that, coping, it just depends on who you are and your support
Mm-hmm.
system. Like I've been married 22 years now. I'm like she's the rock. But some of these kids they get out, their wives leave them the first month, the first year. They can't handle it. Like I was a military spouse. Now we're not in anymore, and we're struggling more. Like they don't, and they leave these dudes, and these dudes freaking can't handle it.
That feeling of not being able to talk to people, like I hear you use the word like you can't talk to people. Is that, do you know what that comes from for you, like other than
Uh,
maintaining a sense of strength and the representation that you feel as a Marine, but also is there anything, like is it protection for the person to not share, or for yourself, or everything?
it stems from being in the Marine Corps. It stems from being in military service. Well, for Marine Corps in general, I can't speak for other services, but you having a mental issue or like PTSD or like you just like depression and stuff like that, those things can end your career. Like the Marine Corps don't play with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You go tell somebody that I have feelings of committing suicide while you're in, they'll process you out. They'll say let the civilian world deal with you. You can't say those things. It's taboo. Like they have questionnaires and screenings and stuff. Do you feel this way? Do you feel that way? Every Marine answer it's the same way. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. Good, good. I'm good. You say stuff like, because I don't, I've seen it my whole career. You say stuff like, I have feelings of hurting myself, or I'm, hey, this last deployment, I was pretty messed up. I need to seek help. If it's that bad, they'll get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone that's probably been in after like the first enlistment, you don't want to mess it up because that means you're trying to do 20. So what do if you can't speak to nobody? Most of them, coping mechanism is alcohol, and that's probably why they freaking pass away after like 22 years because their livers are freaking done. But it's a stigma in the military, and like they know it. Everybody does know it. There's a stigma in the military. If you say that you need help mentally, you're not gonna be around much longer, or because they think you're trying to get out of something. The stigma is, oh, he's trying to get out of something, and you don't want to be that Marine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lonely. That's a lonely spot to be in. The Marine that has issues. And Riddle's seen it, so everybody else has seen it. Like they seen it. Like, hey, the Marine that has issues, you'll see him for a little bit, but once he's processed out, they don't care about you. Let the civilian world figure it out. You know, let the VA take care of it. That's their mindset. Let Veteran Affairs take care of it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Now that's a lot to ask after being trained, like actually trained to not talk about it, to then come out and what do you do? Who do you talk to?
You talk to your fellow Marines, and the bad thing about it is, once you're not in no more, you might not get them on the phone anymore. Like you see, like any veteran you see, like they always posting like, I miss my fam, I miss my military family, I miss my military family, I miss my military family. Like that's it. Those people that you can like, hey, we've been through so much together. I can tell you what I'm going through. You tell me what I'm going through, and then you're good. But once you get out, and those people stop answering the phone, who do I tell? Who do I tell? Like, yo, man, I'm having nightmares. I'm shaking at night. I don't know why I'm like always angry all the time. I don't know why friggin' I just like I do not have the will to live. Who do you say that to? Your little kids? Your wife that you're supposed to be the strong big man for? Like people say that to? Your new job, or you probably, if you're young, you probably got out and went back to school. We would say it to the college kids. They don't like you. Yo, I'm in school right now. These kids look at me like, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't relate to them. I can't relate to them at all. Like,
Yeah. Do you have darker moments, and what is that how does that manifest for you?
uh, my darker moments are, I think they're behind me now. I think my darkest moment was transitioning from the Marine Corps because for me, I didn't want it to be over. I think that was my darkest moment, and knowing that it was over. To me, I could have been a Marine for life. Like knowing I wasn't part of the Brotherhood anymore, that was probably my darkest moment. But I say the moments before that is when you come back from deployment are the darkest moments. When you come back, right? Because when you're deployed, all you think about is how great life is going to be. It's like, hey, once we get through this, killers, we're gonna get back, and every day is gonna be drinking. Everybody's gonna love us. Everything's gonna be amazing. And you get back, and it's not amazing. You get back, and you see your country has gotten worse. Everybody hates each other. Friggin', you still gotta pay bills. You probably lost an uncle or aunt or a grandparent while you were deployed, or your child was born while you were deployed. Friggin', everybody's stressed out, and you're sitting there like nobody's happy. I'm home. The world, like United States, look like crap, and you're like, man, what the heck I deploy for?
Mm-hmm.
This ain't defending what country? This country hates each other. Yeah, this country hates each other. Like you come home, you're like everything is not good, and you feel like you wasted your time. They send you to Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and you come like you see how they're living. You like it makes you like appreciate life. makes you like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm American because these people are living horrible lives. These people have nothing. And they're just smiling because I just gave them my MRE. And I come back here and all these ungrateful freaking Americans are like whining about freaking somebody being offended. Like it's a that's the dark moment when you come back and it's everything's not freaking parties and hoorah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't serve in any military. I thought about it. I was real close to it, but in the amount of friendships I have with people who have served for a country in some branch of military, I think what's starting to stick out to me most is, and the thing that probably appealed to me most, was to be stripped down of all of that insignificant shit is where you get these beautiful bonds with people, these beautiful friendships and stuff. It's why, like, I've made so many of my closest friends through, like, training, through sports, through fighting, through that stuff. Like
mm,
Ben is a great example of that. Like, we became friends because we were both in a situation of survival, of being stripped down to a more primal, basic place, and saying, like, now I can look at you and I know you're not bullshitting me. I know you're exhausted like I am. And I know that you're going to be
mm.
honest with me because there's no energy for anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, that it's not a normal everyday place to find yourself. And it's, I don't know that it's not that it can't be sought or found in other places, but to go from that extremity of, especially a long time in service, it's quite hard for me to even imagine how little patience I would have with people.
Mm. I just learned to adapt and overcome. Uh, it's nice to have a goal to keep you straightforward. And you know, I still have like military friends I can still reach out when it gets rough, gets dark, you know. And but I'm like that is just those type of friendships is just like they like for however long you served, they kept you going. And it's just once it's all done and you try to find like a new circle, some of these kids find the wrong circle when they get out. Some of these kids find it because everybody has that feeling of want to be belonging to something. Everybody wants to belong to something. And most of these kids that join the 18, they say, I want to belong to the Marine Corps. Now, after you get out, that feeling of belonging and purpose is gone. So you think your life is gone. And you can't get that feeling back. You can't it's hard to get that feeling back, like that sense of purpose when you're working on a construction site or some other odd job that you got after the military. You're like, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So once you can't get that feeling back, it's just you either adjust to new life or some of these some of these other kids they just can't handle it.
In what ways are you connected still now? Like, you said you have, you have some people, some Marines and people you can talk to. Do you talk regularly to people you served with? Are you involved
Um,
with any kind of organizations still that are connected?
well, like I still go on base and I talk to the people at Combat Engineer School, Marines that retired or Marines that friggin' I served with that's still in here and
Mm-hmm.
there. So I still have a rapport with them. People like Colonel Cordova Colonel McCullough, officers that freaking were in charge of me while I was deployed. Like I still talk to them from here to time. We still talk about the good old days. Like when we were young and we were just ready to freaking send me there, send me that place, send me that place. Engineers up, we're going. Yeah, freaking like we talk about the old days. Now that we're all most of you retired, sitting at the VA, freaking waiting for our pain meds. Yeah, but it's one of those when we were young killers, and now the new generation is taking over. But mm, it's nice to have those. It's nice to have those old heads still talk to here and there. Now,
Yeah.
every once in a while, I do go to Wounded Warrior Battalion, and I try to like spread some joy there because that's one battalion that's just so they don't Wounded Warrior Battalion now is not really wounded Marines. It's like more of Marines hurt during training or they
Mm.
just couldn't hack it at their unit. So they send them over to Wounded Warrior Battalion, like depressed Marines and stuff like that. And it's not really combat like hurt people.
Mhm.
So it's just like it's one of those depressing units that every once in a while you go over there just to like at least make one motivator freaking smile again.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the answer is as simple as like you got to just continue to compartmentalize it. But is there anything that comes to mind as like a hope or a solution that you see to like how can we help somebody who's fresh out? Like, what do they need to hear more than anything in that moment?
They need like when people transition out of the Marine Corps, they're usually by themselves and they're like, just checking out and they're trying to get everything ready. But they need like a representative or somebody to give them the whole transition piece of your life is not over. Like there should be like a mandatory counseling session with numbers. I don't know what they can do. Like all kind of stuff. Like some kind of transition piece for these killers when they're in TRS and in those classes trying to freaking get a signature so they can get processed out. Like, hey, killer, your life is not over. It's just beginning. You're just on a different path. They need to hear stuff like that. Hey, yes, your time in the Marine Corps is over with, but it's time for you to choose a different path. And that can be even as great as the one that you just did. That's what they need to hear. Like you go from one path to another, and you can still be great. You can still do great things. I don't know who could give that. I don't know who can give that to them, but they need that kind of class because
Mm-hmm.
like you've been to tell you like when you're processing out, nobody like nobody's like really concerned. They're just making sure that you get out.
Right.
There's no class like, hey, freaking, don't worry, killer. You're gonna do great things when you get out. It's like, hey, just hurry up and get out.
Yeah.
But they need something. They need to hear something like that because most of these kids they join because they were in bad situations, and when they
Right.
get out, they're probably going back to bad situations.
Yeah. It like doing this process and getting to talk to people and yourself included. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk, and it's quite a lot to ask for you to open up to a stranger. I mean, I know I've got Ben speaking as my reference to let you know I'm not a nobody, but it still takes a
Yeah,
lot, I think. And
he gave me the speech. He was like, "Go, he's a good guy. Go ahead and open up to him." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try my best."
yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how I would react in the other side of a conversation like this, but I mean it's it's helping me like figure out more about what's going on, even just for Ben and for other people, and that's the whole point of the script, right? Is to like every single person in it has shit going on below the surface that we don't know about. That's everyday life, and I don't think we extend enough patience. I know I don't. Like, somebody treats me with impatience, I treat them the same way right back. And this process, this particular process, this getting to talk to combat vets especially, is like just exposing the complexity of the situation in a way that I don't think it's possible to know. You know, like and the only reason I know as much as I do about it is because I've had situations with Ben where we've hit rock bottom together, and we've developed a level of trust where he can, you know, feel like I'm somebody he can talk to. But it's been good for me to have that, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to read the script and to let me know a little bit more. You seem like a good dude.
Yeah, well, hey, if Riddle said anything to him, don't believe it. I let you know that right
now. He likes to show me your big 2x4 that you've got in every photo.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you're doing stuff like this. And then like, you know, reading your script and all. You know, because of our society and media and social media, like this, our country's just so stressed. They're ready to freaking explode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the bad thing about it is they don't even know how bad it is in other countries.
Right.
They don't even know how bad it is in other countries. There's people in other countries like they're dying for their right now because of their religion. Like they're dying right now as we speak. There's a town being attacked because they practice a different religion than the next town over. So it's like we're sitting here stressing about somebody being offended because they used the wrong bathroom. Like it's we're stressed out in America for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But I do want to extend, like, you've got my phone number, you got my email. You know, if you want a civilian to talk to at some point, I'm always fucking here. I mean that sincerely.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. I appreciate you. Thanks for your time, Dustin.